We have all had experiences akin to what the disciples experienced on Mount Tabor in witnessing Jesus' transfiguration. There are times in our lives when things are going so well, or we share in a family reunion, or maybe an uplifting retreat experience, and we feel as though we're walking on air. But deep down, we know that these experiences do not last forever. I joke that it only takes one phone call when I return from vacation to have the whole experience undone. But this is life. We live in the peaks and the valleys and the ground in between. In our liturgical year, we may see this time, humanly speaking, as a valley. Fasting, praying, and almsgiving is sometimes difficult for us, and we definitely look forward to the celebration of Easter. Abraham was in that time of his life when he could look back on many years to reflect on the peaks and valleys of his own life, assessing what mark he had made on the world as he and Sarah were deep into their twilight years. Yet, God tells Abraham something that is astounding. He is to be the father of a great nation. He must uproot himself and Sarah and live in a land far from his own, and his name will be great in history. Surely, Abraham was shaking his head at this. He and Sarah had no children, were well on in years, and had almost finished with their lives here on earth. But Abraham and Sarah are people of hope. They trust in God and are willing to take the risk of following God's promise to them. On human terms, Abraham should have felt that God was playing a cruel joke on him. But with the gifted insight of faith, Abraham was willing to have hope in what lied ahead of him and his trust in God. From the ancient times, hope has been a hallmark of God's people. The experiences of Noah, of Moses, Abraham, and Isaiah are all stories of hope that brought out the best of humanity when they trusted in God. The scene from today's gospel is another instance of hope. Jesus is in the last year of his life, moving his disciples along in their journey toward Jerusalem. Already, there has been upset among the apostles in their lives, and they can sense that entering Jerusalem will be a challenging endeavor. They already sense that something bad will be happening. Jesus takes Peter, James, and John to Mount Tabor and gives to them a glimpse in his glory. This is a reassuring scene that will sustain them through Jesus' betrayal, trial, and crucifixion. Jesus had told them that the Son of Man had to suffer, to die, and to rise again. But on Mount Tabor, he actually shows them what the glory of God is, a transforming, uplifting, and mountaintop experience. The Transfiguration is hope personified in seeing Jesus in glory. As we continue our journey through Lent, hope is our ultimate destiny. We glory with Peter, James, and John as they witness a transfigured Jesus, and we come down the mountain with them to continue on to Jerusalem. We join with them at the table of the Last Supper, that wonderful banquet, then witness the betrayal of Jesus, his trial, and crucifixion. For those who have no hope, this ending would signal that all is lost and our expectations have been dashed. But we go through this Lenten journey with our hopes pinned on the resurrection, knowing that Jesus' promise to us is always fulfilled. Today, here in this chapel, I'm privileged to gather with many sisters of St. Joseph and their associates, whose lives exude the hope we hear about in today's readings. From school classroom to the homes of the elderly, from homework house to gray house, their lives touch people who seek the presence of God in their motto, uniting neighbor with neighbor and neighbor with God. Their ministries continue in all parts of our diocese and beyond, as they seek to care for their aging and infirm sisters, who continue their ministry for us by their intercessory prayers. Please know how grateful I am as bishop of this diocese, and how grateful all of the sisters of St. Joseph are for all who have come to support their cause of caring for their aging sisters. Like Abraham, the disciples, and women and men of faith found throughout the scriptures, the sisters of St. Joseph are truly women of hope, bringing that light of Christ to all whom they meet.